Latin America is a continent characterized by its predominantly Catholic culture and by the population's profound and joyful devotion to the Blessed Virgin Mary. While scarred by social difficulties and, as most cultures of our time, affected by secularism, the people maintain their Catholic values and their love for the Mother of Christ. In Nicaragua, the Blessed Virgin Mary is venerated under the title of the Immaculate Conception, or as is more commonly known, La Purísima. The devotion is deeply rooted in each Nicaraguan's heart and is celebrated not only throughout the country, but also in the homes of thousands of Nicaraguans living abroad. The celebration of La Purísima is ancient, manifesting itself soon after the arrival of the Spanish in the 16th century. The origin of present-day Nicaragua is ascribed to Granada and León, the first colonial cities founded in 1525.
The celebration of the Virgin Mary in Nicaragua started when an image of the Immaculate Conception appeared at the Franciscan convent in the village of El Viejo. Supposedly, 50 years earlier, a cousin or relative of Santa Teresa of Avila was traveling to Peru, transporting the image. Storms at sea forced him to the port of Realejo, one of the most important ports of the Spanish Empire on the Pacific coast. He tried 3 times to set sail, but each time the bad weather made him turn back. And so he became convinced that it was a sign from God's mother. She wanted to stay there, in that place, in Nicaragua.
The most important trace left from that history is the minor basilica we find in El Viejo, a small town near the Pacific coast where the image of Our Lady under the title of the Immaculate Conception is kept. She was declared the national patron saint of Nicaragua in 2001.
The image we venerate in the present basilica, here in the town of El Viejo, came from Spain in 1562. It has the style of the Seville school and is as beautiful and lovely as Our Lady of La Macarena and Our Lady of El Rocío. Its arrival in these parts was entirely providential because, based on the historical documents available, this image was, in all likelihood, the one that Santa Teresa of Jesus venerated. When the Virgin came here, people fell in love with her beauty, and the natives lovingly started to call her the White Girl.
The devotion spread quickly alongside the work done by Franciscan missionaries who had a special devotion to Mary in the mystery of her Immaculate Conception. The Franciscans also defended the native Indians from the abuses committed by the Spanish governor during those times.
At the beginning of the 17th century, there was a decree by the civil governor of Nicaragua province, which ordered the inhabitants in León to burn large torches at the doors of their houses. There was no explanation. The only logical explanation is that the celebration of La Purísima needed light in the streets of León. Tradition tells us that this devotion started in León, where there was a famous Franciscan convent, and from there spread all over the country. So, we have this information that, at the beginning of the 17th century, this festivity of the Virgin was popular, that it had already spread, and that it needed official authorities to keep order.
The love she gives us is what gives us life, and what makes us come every year to sing to her, to glorify her, to ask her that she brings us peace, that she brings love to all our Nicaraguan brothers and sisters.
My devotion started when I was a child. I took it from my father, my mother, and my grandparents. My entire family is Catholic, and we love Mary a lot, and we love Jesus above all else.
When I was a child, I used to see my grandfather, who would always cry out to the Purísima. And so I started to acquire the tradition. I find all this very moving. We truly love Mary. In her we see our Heavenly Mother, who intercedes for all Nicaraguans.
Devotion to La Purísima can be considered the only national celebration in Nicaragua. No other event, including public holidays, is so universally acknowledged. Notwithstanding uncertainty of some of the historical data, many concur that this tradition coincides with the arrival of the Franciscan missionaries known for their devotion to the Virgin Mary.
In this diocese was born the great celebration called La Gritería, or shouting, the Vigil of the Immaculate Conception. It has all the characteristics of the devotion as it is known nowadays throughout Nicaragua. In addition to this, she has her throne in this diocese. This is the national shrine where the image of the patron saint of my country is. That is why the Diocese of León is a genuinely Marian diocese. I can say that from this diocese the Virgin Mary irradiates and illuminates the entire country. And from this place she also takes care of all her Nicaraguan children. Not only the ones living here, but also the ones who have formed colonies and groups abroad. Wherever these Nicaraguans are, you can see and hear the traditional shouting from Nicaragua. Who causes so much joy? Mary's conception.
El Viejo is the meeting place for all pilgrims coming from within Nicaragua or from abroad. As everywhere in Nicaragua, a preparatory novena including several masses begins at dawn. Thousands of faithful come to the shrine to visit the image and to join in praying the rosary. One of the most noteworthy and original celebrations is the cleaning of the silverware, which takes place on December 6th.
What is the cleaning of the silverware? As time has gone by, the Virgin has been gathering treasures, gifts of thanksgiving, which speak of the wonders and miracles she has obtained for us by her prayers before God. These gifts, which include chalices, bells, canopy bars, and a great number of chalices used during the liturgy, are put in the hands of the faithful every December the 6th to be cleaned and polished. And so, on December the 8th, all these objects are clean and brilliant in honor of the Blessed Virgin Mary. However, I want to highlight that this activity's meaning is primordially spiritual and of penance, because it implies the inner cleansing of every Catholic in Nicaragua. This is done 2 days before the Immaculate Conception. On the day before, we have the great celebration called La Gritería, which was born in León, Nicaragua.